Hello and welcome to Slooh, especially those of you joining us from our live channel at slooh.com. Hey, look at this wonderful animation of the gas giant Jupiter. We're going to be talking all about that a little bit later on, and how we connect through it to our solar system and the universe. Anyway, welcome to Slooh, especially those watching at slooh.com on the live channel, where members can watch and control our live telescopes from both the Canary Islands and Chile observatories every clear night. Now, if you have any questions or comments for me or my guests during the show, you can send a tweet to @Slooh, or you can use the chat room, which is right next to this video at slooh.com. So what are we doing for this show? Jupiter's abundant majesty and messaging. Wow, that's pretty cool. Now, what is Slooh doing at the Wanderlust Festival? And what is the Wanderlust Festival? And what does it have to do with space or astronomy? To help me answer those questions, we're going to be talking to two people running Slooh sessions at the festival a little bit later in the show. But let's take a quick step back for a minute. You know, the Slooh community, it's made up of a vast diversity of members, you know, some pursuing purely scientific aims using the telescopes, others chasing the aesthetic beauty of our universe through astrophotography, just like this, with these Jupiter animations. Others are intrigued by the many theories about rogue planets or alien conspiracies. There are also the explorers, the hunters in the community. Now, they're searching for asteroids and comets. That's a subject which is incredibly close to the heart of one of our guests later on. And of course, many members get together in groups to share their particular interests. There really is space for everyone at Slooh. Now, many of us, you know, we kind of share an awe and wonder of the universe to a point, you know, where it can be an almost spiritual experience. Now, I don't consider myself to be a very spiritual person, and I'm also a confirmed atheist, but I do feel a sense of spiritual wonderment and fulfillment when gazing at the glorious sights that we see through Slooh's telescopes, or contemplating the vastness of space when I just gaze up into the night sky. And the subject certainly fulfills my hunger for knowledge, which kind of only seems to grow with age. Now, with this in mind, there's a group of people who are spending 4 days on the Hawaiian island of Oahu. Sorry about my pronunciation there. By the way, Oahu means the gathering place, so it's extremely appropriate. Now, they're there to share a connection with themselves and the universe through yoga, meditation, music, art, food, and dance at one of the world's most awe-inspiring natural resorts. They say that their experience can start either on the yoga mat, meditating by the shoreline, or on the dance floor, or it may start in their ears, whether they're listening to an inspirational speaker or the pulse-pounding beats maybe from some of the musical artists who are performing at the event. Or they say it may begin in their eyes as they drink in the surrounding natural beauty, or in our case, the magical wonders of the night sky. Now, the event is called Wanderlust Oahu, and it plays directly into Slooh's ambition to share mankind's common cause under our shared sky. Observing and marveling at outer space isn't just for scientists, it's for anyone who feels that connection to something larger simply by gazing up at the night sky. Now, joining me in a few minutes will be Ali Grimes, the yoga instructor who's leading Slooh sessions at Wanderlust, together with Dr. Robert Jedicke. I hope I pronounced his name right. He'll tell me in a second. And he is the astronomer during Slooh sessions from the Institute of Astronomy at the University of Hawaii. Now, we'll be asking them about the event and the connection between Wanderlust and astronomy and space, and specifically why they've chosen two specific solar system objects to focus on during the Slooh sessions there, the Sun and the mighty gas giant Jupiter. Now, we were hoping for some live Jupiter views tonight from the Slooh Canary Islands Observatory, but the domes are still snowed under following that enormous ice and snowstorm last week. However, Slooh members can watch the live views of Jupiter later tonight from the Chile Observatory. Take a look at the schedule and you'll see a large block of Jupiter missions that Ali and Robert are going to show festival goers during one of their live sessions later on tonight. So let's take a little step back again. What is Jupiter? We were hoping Bob Bowman was going to be able to join us tonight to tell us all about Jupiter, but unfortunately Bob can't join us. But so what is Jupiter? What are we actually seeing when we see the huge striped planet through Slooh's telescopes? We'll see some more images of Jupiter, recent images of Jupiter coming up on the screen in a sec. Now, Slooh members know I'm a bit of a Jupiter fan, a bit of a Jupiter fanboy. But why? Well, to me, it's one of the most dynamic objects in the night sky. Its features change minute by minute as it makes a full rotation in a mere 9 hours, 55 minutes. That's how long a Jovian day lasts. It's the fastest spinning planet in the solar system. And that incredible speed of rotation flattens the planet from being a perfect sphere. Look at these images from Chile. Over the last few nights, you can see it looks squashed. I think this one is from Keith Smith. Keith's been taking some fabulous images of Jupiter over the last few nights. Now, that shape is one of my favorite terms in the English language. It's called an oblate spheroid. I just love that. It sounds like something you'd need to go to the doctor, to ask him about, doesn't it? Excuse me, doctor, but my oblate spheroid is playing up again. I've already told you it's the fastest spinning planet in the solar system, and it also creates an enormous and powerful magnetic field, 14 times more powerful than the Earth. But it's not just the planet itself that makes it interesting. With that incredibly active atmosphere, with its dark belts that you can see there and the lighter regions, and of course the great red spot, the greatest storm in the solar system, raging for hundreds of years, that was first identified by Giovanni Cassini in 1665. Now, the other amazing sight that Jupiter gives us, and it's one of the main reasons why I love it. Oh, look at this gorgeous image. This is one that I snapped the other night. Actually, Ben took this as well. And you can see here the great red spot. It used to be double that size. It's shrinking, but it's turned a lot more orange this year. That's what we're seeing. Anyway, the other amazing sight that Jupiter gives us is what Galileo described as a string of pearls, Jupiter's 4 largest moons, the Galilean satellites, Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto. You can see Io and Ganymede there. In their own right, those amazing and varied little worlds would be considered planets if they orbited the sun rather than Jupiter. And Slooh member, oh, look at this. I love this animation. It shows the moons and their shadows transiting across the face of the planet. And Stephen in chat, when will we get to see another double or maybe even a triple transit of Jupiter's moons? I'll tell you what, Stephen, I will tell you that on the What's Up This Week page tomorrow in the clubhouse. So take a look at that. So we watch that, and these tiny little moons, they dance around Jupiter every night as they orbit the king of the planets. We even see their shadows and the moons as they transit across the face of the planet, just like this. It's just so dynamic. How can you not love this mighty, mighty planet? And it could also be responsible for life on Earth. Its tremendous gravity has sucked up many of the potentially hazardous asteroids and comets that could have otherwise impacted Earth. It's why it's known as the vacuum cleaner of the solar system. However, it could have also thrown similar objects into direct collisions with Earth. So we don't really know. Has it saved life or has it destroyed life on Earth? However, it could. We've also seen this is the impact in 1994 that was witnessed as comet Shoemaker-Levy 9 was ripped apart by Jupiter's huge gravity, ripped apart into 21 fragments before it pounded the planet's upper atmosphere in a series of enormous explosions. And Slooh members also witnessed another asteroid or comet explosion. A huge flash on Jupiter occurred instantaneously, and we witnessed that a few years ago. Now, it's one thing. Here it is. You'll see this bang. Look at that. Boom. 2012. We saw that. This is evidence, of our other pet subject here at Slooh, and it's the threat from near-Earth objects, asteroids, and comets. And here we see it. It's happening. It's happening in the solar system. In fact, we had an impact over the ocean only a couple of weeks ago. Nobody observed it, but it was picked up on some of the military systems. Anyway, it's one thing seeing Jupiter through the telescopes like this, but what I always urge people to do, and this is really pertinent to tonight's show about making that connection with the night sky, I urge people to grab a pair of binoculars. Even a pair of cheap toy binoculars will do it, and point them towards the gas giant. You will be rewarded with a very similar view to the one that Galileo had back in January 1610. The first objects to be observed orbiting another planet. You'll see that string of pearls stretched out on either side of the planet, and you'll really feel your own connection to our family of planets. It really is amazing. And also, by the way, use a cheap pair of toy binoculars, because that will tell you what Galileo was seeing with his rudimentary telescope. Anyway, that's probably enough for now about my personal favorite. So before we meet our guests, I want to mention a couple of mega events, and I mean mega events. Certainly one of them is we have coming up here at Slooh. On Monday, we are going to be talking about the leap year, featuring live views of the sun from the Prescott Observatory. Oh my word, if you have not seen those live H-alpha views of the sun from the Prescott Observatory, you have to join us on Monday for that show. We will be discussing, Bob's going to be on the show, Bob Bowman's going to be on the show, and we're going to be discussing why we have leap years and how ancient cultures use the sun and the moon to mark time and create calendars. Now, we've also got, by the way, the solar eclipse on March the 8th. This is the mega event. Don't forget to tune in to the live coverage from Indonesia. That starts at 6 p.m. Eastern on the 8th. That is going to be such a fabulous, fabulous event. Now then, space and all its infinity can be viewed in a variety of different ways. Scientists see it as a brilliant research source. Writers and filmmakers see it as a source of inspiration, while others see it as a way to tap into something more ephemeral and spiritual. And that's part of the reason why Slooh is spending the weekend as part of the Wanderlust Festival, hosting 2 separate sessions all about connecting with the universe through meditation and movement. And I'm joined now by Alison Grimes, the instructor at the head of these Slooh sessions, and also Robert Jedicke, the astronomer who is lending a scientific perspective to proceedings to discuss the intersection between science and spirituality. Welcome to the show, Ali and Robert. I hope I got your surname right, Robert. So listen, can you, in the first instance,
can you hear us okay?
Can you tell us? Yeah, I can. If you can probably hold the mic fairly close to you, and that'll be
Sure.
really
Oh.
cool. That's good. That's perfect. Now, tell us first of all a little bit more about Wanderlust Oahu and what the festival is before we start talking specifically about what Slooh's doing at Wanderlust.
Yeah, Wanderlust really began as a festival that connected yoga and music, and it's actually spread out quite a bit from there, like you spoke about. There's art, there's all kinds of meditation, culture, and it's a beautiful thing because it's really bringing people together in the spirit of peace, in the spirit of connecting with nature. They're all in beautiful locations all over the world. So, of course, we're in Oahu, one of the most beautiful spots. And it's really about how to begin to change our world, to live in this more beautiful artistic world and uplift one another, through yoga, through astronomy, through art, through all of these things. So we're having a good time.
So where did this notion of connecting astronomy and yoga or spirituality then? Where did that connection come from? Who came up with that, and what are you doing with it at the festival?
Yeah, so for me, I actually, I know one of the founders of Slooh, and I had been meditating outdoors for quite some time, and I found it was a much richer experience. And then as a yoga teacher, I began teaching classes, moons, eclipses. There's these themes of spirituality you can work with, and really themes that we see happening. Illumination with the full moon, people getting wild and crazy. So
Yeah.
in a yoga class, we work with that theme and that energy. With an eclipse, it's transformation. So we have this big one coming up on March 8th. And so I was doing that on my own, solstices, equinoxes, and Mike said, hey, we should collaborate because this is all the same stuff. And what do you do? And it's super exciting. I taught a sunset salutation, dusk salutation class yesterday. And it really is powerful when people are practicing through meditation, through breath, through yoga, and in communion with the elements. In yoga, we call it prana energy. A great syncing up of being in rhythm with nature. And people just love it because this is, we look up, we see the sky. So tonight, before I hog all the airtime, Robert and I are teaching on Jupiter, as you spoke about, and I'll speak a little bit about it spiritually and then pass it on to my scientist.
Okay,
but spiritually, Jupiter.
Ali, you're breaking up a little bit.
We see him as masculine, actually, in Indian. And oh, did you lose us? Oh,
you're breaking up a little bit.
Are we
as
back?
Great as it is to see you in that lovely sunshine and tie-dye and stuff, can you just switch your video off so that we can hear you for a short while, and then we can flick the video back on later? Because we're just losing your sound a bit.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Now, while you do that, Robert, let's hop over to you, Dr. Robert Jedicke. Now, you're at the Institute of Astronomy at the University of Hawaii. So how did you get involved with Slooh at Wanderlust? And what specifically are you going to be doing during those Slooh sessions?
Well, I met Mike Paolucci at a conference once, and we actually just hit it off drinking martinis, and we were having a fun time. It turns out we're both fans of martinis, and we were just drinking quite a bit. And the more we talked, the more we enjoyed each other's company, and promised that we'd find a way to collaborate in the future. So when he had this event here in Oahu, he decided to call me up and see if I wouldn't mind coming out here and helping out Ali.
Excellent. So during these sessions, are you going to be doing, an explanation of Jupiter? Because sometimes it can be some of those scientific facts that are awe-inspiring in their own right, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. So Ali's handling the spiritual aspects of it, and I'm going to be handling the scientific aspects of the evening. and we're going to be perfectly positioned. Looks like we got great weather here. It looks perfectly clear. And Jupiter's going to be, nearly at opposition. It's going to be rising just after sunset. We've got a couple telescopes to show people. So I'll be telling them about Jupiter. I'll be telling them about the stars, sort of just trying to give them an idea of the majesty of the universe from the scientist perspective.
Excellent. I mean, I do, I've been into astronomy for so long. I'm not a professional astronomer, but, I said earlier on in the show, I get this sense of awe and wonder and spiritual fulfillment. Usually when I'm at the observatories and I'm just actually gazing up at the night sky with my naked eyes and making that one-to-one connection.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that is really, like you said, I think you may have said you're an atheist, Paul, which is beautiful because we're all so different and we all experience reality differently, but we all look up and it's almost universal, that sense of awe, that wow. And it can feel, amazing for all different kinds of people and different kinds of beliefs. And so it's a celebration of that, really. And so we're excited. I'm going to bring in some of the spiritual aspects of Jupiter, how he is the giver of gifts. He is the big, kind Mac Daddy. I don't know if you guys caught that before.
No, and I didn't. I wanted to ask you about it. So why did you then pick Jupiter and the Sun for these sessions, Ali? Because I didn't know anything about that side of Jupiter. So please expand on what you said there, just in case people missed it.
Absolutely. So the sun really is a no-brainer. We, worshiping the sun, waking up at sunset, practicing yoga, or at sunset is something that yogis love to do. We love to, I taught actually with Bob Berman at the solstice at Wanderlust, Vermont last year, and having this experience of I am the light is really something that merges beautifully with yoga, and especially somewhere as beautiful as Oahu. Again, like I said, I'm really focused on my students who are yoga students who have very, very different beliefs, much like everybody, spiritually or not spiritually. And it's really about giving them an experience of, wow, just much like you described, looking up at the universe, reverence for the sun, thanking the sun, gratitude for the sun, with a little bit of astronomy thrown in. We looked at some of the colors in the sky. It was awesome because last night I ended class and I said, and the first star that we'll be seeing tonight, if you look up, is Sirius. And I looked up and I went, and bam, there it was. It just lit up almost at the exact moment after I said the sentence. And so it's a very uplifting thing to talk about the universe and the sun with yogis. They love it so much. So tonight, we picked Jupiter because we knew that Jupiter would be beautiful through the telescopes. I, like you, am a big fan of Jupiter. And actually, spiritually in India, he's seen as the teacher of astronomy and the teacher of the light.
Oh, really?
So, yes.
Okay, I had no idea about this. This is why I love Slooh, because I learn something every time I do a show, every time I watch a show. And it's a different perspective. It's a different perspective, and that different perspective actually just builds my own understanding and connection with the entire subject. That's what I love. So go on, tell us a little bit more then about Jupiter. And from that point of view.
So what's happening now really spiritually is Jupiter is asking us, is really demanding of us that gravitational pull, just from a spiritual perspective, take it or leave it, is asking us as a culture community. You can see this happening about our concept of wealth and abundance. And when I say wealth and abundance, it's financial, but it's also wealth of community, wealth of health, wealth of relationships. And with this big solar eclipse coming, which is transformative in what I teach, it's only piggybacking on that energy. And so we come together as a community to meditate on, what is my vision of abundance and wealth, not only for myself, not only in my relationships and in my life and in my finances and in my health, but also for the greater community and for the whole world, right? So it's about beginning to change culture, bringing those kinds of big ideas into people's consciousness through breath work, which we call pranayama, meditation, and yoga. So that'll be about like the first half hour of class. And then the second half an hour, we'll have Robert lecture about the science of Jupiter, the science of the stars. And then the last half hour will give people a chance to look at Jupiter directly through the telescopes. So,
brilliant.
Yay, excited.
Are you recording that session at all?
Yes, we are.
You are, because hopefully we can make that available, you know, on the Slooh channel, and that, you know, I know a lot of people will be really, really interested to see that. Now, before you go, have a look at this image. We hope you have similar fabulous views of Jupiter tonight. This is Jupiter from the Chile Observatory a couple of nights ago with the great red spot there that's actually looking this lovely deep orange. What do you make of that, Robert?
I think it looks wonderful, but we're not going to have views nearly as good as that through our little 10-inch Dobsonian. But we'll be able to see some bands, we'll be able to see the moons of Jupiter.
We always do like to ask our guests what inspired them, the astronomy types, what inspired them to get interested in astronomy. So, Robert, what got you
So for
interested?
me, it was definitely my brother. My brother's 8 years older than me. He's a major influence on my life, and he was a big astronomy nerd when he was in high school, and he basically just converted me into one.
Excellent. Well, that's good enough for me. We've had all manner of inspirations from superb teachers to accidentally picking up a book in the library. If you can just flick your video back on again, because it would be great to see you just before we leave. Thank you so much for joining us today. Now, break a leg in that session tonight with those live Jupiter views. Hopefully we've got live views from the Chile Observatory for you as well in 6 hours time. We hope to see you both again really soon, possibly during the eclipse show, as you guys are going to be enjoying a partial solar eclipse from Hawaii.
Yes, and we've been getting people excited about that, giving them out the glasses, and people are really excited. I guess you had said it's going to be 71% partial. So yeah, that's super exciting. The other thing I was going to say before we sign off, if you want us to try to pan out the computer, we had to face it this way to get a connection, but we can show you the beautiful ocean that we're looking out upon.
Yes, let's have a look, and hopefully the producer will get this full screen as well. Now, this is going to make me really jealous, isn't it? All of our viewers really jealous. Oh, no, we didn't really want to see it. That doesn't make us jealous at all. Oh, no, guys, what are you doing to us? Well, it looks like you're putting up with a lot of hardship there, Ali and Robert.
We're having fun.
So, listen, thank you very much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of the event, the Slooh sessions at Wanderlust, and just have a great weekend, won't you?
Thank you so much. Paul. You too, Paul.
Okay, bye for now.
Aloha.
Aloha.
What a great interview that is. Oh, looking at that place. Why aren't we there? I'm about to go to Indonesia for the Slooh eclipse expedition, but it's going to be hot and humid there. Actually, I've just realized what I've just said to Ali. Break a leg is the traditional performance wish. You know, it's bad luck to give somebody, say good luck to them before a performance. But I'm not sure with yoga whether break a leg is really the best thing to say to somebody. Anyway, sorry about that, Ali. Now, whatever brought you here tonight, whether it's a fascination with science and astronomy, or simply the awe and wonder you feel when contemplating space, or even it was for spiritual fulfillment, I hope you've enjoyed the show. And if you have, but you're not already a Slooh member, please join us to support our mission. It's a worthy cause and it is great fun to boot. All right. Now, before we go, I want to remind you of the events we have lined up for you. On March 8th, don't forget to tune in to our live coverage of the total solar eclipse from Indonesia. That starts at 6 p.m. Eastern Time on the 8th. We'll also be bringing you live reports from the Slooh expedition team in the field. It's going to be an awesome event. You really, really must not miss it. Now, in anticipation of the eclipse, You've seen some of these images before. We're going to show them to you again. In anticipation of the eclipse, we're asking you to participate in Slooh's Shade Up campaign. Just grab a pair of sunglasses, take out your cell phones and snap a selfie. Then share that photo to Instagram or Twitter with the hashtag #ShadeUp, not shades up, just shade up, to show us how excited you are for the eclipse. We're reposting our favorites. Look at that one. Hey, listen, the internet, it's all about cats, really, isn't it? It's not about us sharing and communicating and all that kind of stuff. It's about cats. Come on, we all know. Anyway, we are reposting our favorites, and you might even get to see your selfie during the live eclipse show. Have millions of people seeing your eclipse selfies. How about that? Now, obviously, don't use sunglasses to look at the sun. Use these special Slooh eclipse glasses. Actually, that's what Ali was referring to. We've sent a bundle of those down to schools in Hawaii so they can view the partial solar eclipse. Now, on Monday as well, on Monday the 29th, we are going to be talking all about leap year, featuring the views of the sun from Slooh Partner Observatory, the Prescott Observatory. We are going to be discussing why we have leap years. I'm going to be telling you also, the producer doesn't know this yet, but I'm going to be telling you about leap seconds as well. I wonder whether you knew about that, and also some of the stuff that happens each millennium, and how ancient cultures use the sun and the moon to mark time and create calendars. Now, Bob Berman, Slooh Astronomer, Bob Berman is going to be joining me on Monday for that show. He's always great with subjects like that. We love hearing from Bob. And anyway, for those of you watching the show on our live channel, we are now going to return to some gorgeous live telescope views from the Chile Observatory. I know we had a slight problem earlier. We're trying to resolve that. Looks like there may have been a power outage earlier. But for the rest of you, join Slooh and join in the fun. So goodbye for now, and we will see you very soon, actually, on Monday. So bye for now.